Hello everyone. How are you today? So I'm sitting on the beach. I'm gonna show you the view. Today is pretty smoky clouds. The air is really stagnant and hot. So I thought it would be fun to get close to the water, and I have something specific I'm gonna do today on the live, but I want to show you this beautiful view, even though it is smoky. If you've been following me, you might recognize this beach. I have done a live out here once, but when I did that, it was quite sunny. Just down the way, there's a bunch of cabins and a little restaurant right at the end of the little walkway down there. Probably can't see it from here on the video, but so if you happen to see my lives from yesterday, you heard me talk about the fact that transiting Mercury is coming to square the nodal axis in Gemini Sag, and Mercury is the ruler of the North Node in Gemini, also the ruler of Virgo, the sign that it's in right now, where it's going to be squaring the nodes. So I thought it would be fun to pick a Carolyn May's archetype card for guiding us through this tension. I mean, it can be tense conversations and tension in how we're perceiving things, and we can be feeling triggered by our perceptions, or by our perceptions of what other people are saying, or other people's perceptions. And so I did talk about that yesterday, and I think that it was helpful. So if you find yourself interested in that theme that could be coming up, if you find yourself noticing, you can go back to yesterday's lives. There's 2 of them, and check it out. But today I'm going to just pick a Carolyn May's card, and we'll talk about it and how it's related to, or could be helpful in collective contemplation for this transit. So I already shuffled the cards, and I have them in my purse, and I'm just gonna reach down in my purse and pick one. Guess what I got? I'm gonna pick another one, but guess what I got? I shuffled these cards, and guess what I got? Child Magical. That's the one that I picked randomly for the new moon in Leo. And the light attributes are seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. And its shadow attributes are pessimism, depression, a disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. So I'll just say that, I picked this card. I picked this card for the new moon in Leo, and maybe because I shuffled the cards and I happened to pick it again, I'll talk a little bit about how this could be applied to this transit coming up of tension, which is not to, it's not been a long time since that new moon. So maybe this is helpful for us to contemplate for this approaching Mercury square the nodes. So, child magical. So I think in regards to perceptions and communications and things like that, it could be helpful in recognizing that there really is a sacred beauty in all beings, all points of view, in the sense that they do contribute to the whole. And we may not agree with the way that everybody perceives things, but in some ways they do contribute to this holistic point of view that we want to be having. Because the thing is with new moon in Leo, this is about the cultivation of our self-actualization, and we do this through the ego. And so Leo is like where a child, magical child, really realizes the extent of the fact that it has its own identity and own self-actualization and own creativity, and it's separate than its parents, right? So it recognizes that function of personal development and growing one's own light. And if it gets too rigid in its own perspectives, then it can actually not allow space for the rest of the world to have perspectives, right? And this is the Leo Aquarius axis, where it's like, really, humanity is built from each individual's point of view, and if we're coming from our own point of view too much, we are limited, and we're here to expand. So we're here to expand consciousness and expand perceptions and expand our learning. And the south node of the moon is in Sagittarius, and that is about higher learning. It's about aligning with truth. And there is a certain level where truth is relative, because it's, we all have our personal truth. But there's also, these natural laws that apply to everyone, no matter what country you live in, no matter what laws you have to abide by in a country, for example. There's still natural law. So this is where we want to keep open, because, we're going to have our point of view. We want to share that point of view. And that point of view is very important, because it does contribute, no matter what it is. And it does help us to serve our own personal self-actualization, and the purpose, the special destiny in that. But we also want to be sure to leave space for learning from each other. And I think that that's what the North Node in Gemini is really about. So when Mercury comes to square the nodes from, Virgo to Gemini, I think it could be, the challenge there, the tension there can be when we grip onto our own point of view too much, and we don't create space for others' points of view so that we can expand our consciousness. And even if we don't agree, there's that saying, we can just agree to disagree. And I think that that's pretty peaceful, because this is the thing. We're not always all going to agree. It's just never going to happen, because we're not here to be the same. We're here to be an individual being and do our own personal soul growth and add that to the collective soul growth. And you know, we all have a part in that. We all have a purpose in that. We all have a function in that, and we all have our process in that. So we're not always all going to agree all the time. So keeping that in mind might be good right now as we approach the, you know, Mercury square to the nodes. And so the shadow attributes, you know, as I said, pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. You know, so I think in regards to this, that the energy and action that may be required is just that, yes, we can speak our personal truth, and we want to make sure that when we speak our truth, it's in a safe place, that we are safe to do that. And I don't mean just physically, I mean emotionally and mentally and psychically, spiritually. We have to make a safe place for each other to be able to live in our own truth, and so that we are not only creating a safe place for others to live in their truth, but for ourselves to live in our truth. Because, you know, really it's a mutual energy, and if we don't create that space for others to have the freedom to explore their own ideas and their own perceptions and their own truth, then we in turn are hurting ourselves, because we will actually create karma for ourselves in that regard. Because when planets are square the nodes, you know, I mean, this can, if we don't understand how to integrate that square, then we can actually build karma for ourselves that would create more pressure in the future for us in regards to those themes. So that's my initial take on it. But I wanted to do another card. Okay, so this is the second card for contemplation. Hedonist. The light attributes, she says, inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life, celebrates the beauty in yourself. Shadow attributes, pursues pleasure to the detriment of health, indulges at the expense of others. Well, I think this is pretty obvious. So, you know, this very much goes with the Leonian energy, and meaning that, you know, it's like really loving our own identity and self-love and the beauty of the creative expression of who we are on an individual level. We want that self-love. We want to cultivate that and celebrate the beauty that we create in the being that we are every day. And, you know, but the shadow attribute would be indulging at the expense of someone else, right? So, you know, this is going back to, you know, thinking that we are the only, like, our way is the only way. Our way of perceiving is the only way. Our way of living is the only way. You know, our way is the only way. You know, and it actually, that's a limitation of the beauty of the expression of God, Goddess, or Source energy through the earth and all the beings on the earth. This beauty is multidimensional, and we make it that way by being open to other people's beauty and their expression as well. Even if we don't agree, again, there's a purpose to it. And so I think, you know, that indulges at the expense of others, as far as the shadow attribute of this card, really makes sense. So, you know, just remembering that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and also that, you know, there's a saying that a really wise woman that I know said to me, and She used to say it all the time, and it was, I hope I can grasp it. It was, I can't remember it. I'm gonna have to remember it and come back. Something about like it takes. I'm so sorry that I mentioned it. Now I can't remember it, but I will remember it because I think about it a lot. So I'll remember it and I'll come back with this saying, and maybe I'll talk a little bit more about these cards, or the transit, because again, it's approaching. This transiting Mercury is approaching, so the tension may be building in our outer world around perceptions and communications and, ideas. And so, I think just remembering that, oh, I know what it is. I got it. It takes all kinds to make the world turn, or something like that. I think that's it. It takes all kinds to make the world turn. So, yeah. I'm glad that we're all different. It's not easy at times, but I think it is essential. So, and this pursues pleasure to the detriment of health. I think that, this is something I talked about in yesterday's live, that really in order to, because Virgo is about health, and we have Mercury squaring, approaching square to the North Node in Gemini. So part of our health is in our thoughts. Part of our health is in our perceptions. And so the more forgiving we can be for others, meaning like allowing them to have their perceptions and their ideas, and even if we don't agree. And, I think it creates a lack of health if we don't give that freedom to other people. And, we can honor that we may not agree. We can honor our own perceptions, but we can honor our perceptions without making it unsafe for someone else to have a different perception. So I hope this is interesting and helpful. If it is, then like, comment, tell me what you think, share, and happy Venus Day. It's Friday. Happy Venus Day. And as you know, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to actually end on another view because you might want to see this beautiful view. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. See you tomorrow.